Yes, my friends, things are heating up once again around the Baltimore Ravens, and we need to talk about something that has every Ravens fan paying attention, because honestly, it's starting all over again. Every offseason, the same debates come back, the same criticism shows up, and somehow Lamar Jackson is always right in the middle of it. But this time, someone finally spoke up and called out what many Ravens fans have been saying for years. Ryan Clark believes there's a clear double standard when people compare Lamar Jackson to Joe Burrow, and now the entire NFL world is talking about it. I really want to see the Ravens back in the Super Bowl. That's what every true fan has been waiting for, and why not this season? But I want to hear from you first. Do you think Lamar Jackson still doesn't get the respect he deserves around the league? Or do you believe the critics actually have a point? Leave your opinion in the comments because I want to know where you stand. And if you've been supporting the Baltimore Ravens for more than 15 years, smash that like button as hard as you can. Go Ravens! Let's go to the Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about why this latest Lamar Jackson debate has everyone paying attention. The timing of this discussion is not surprising. Training camp is getting closer, and whenever the NFL enters this quiet period, the conversations around Lamar Jackson seem to return. Instead of talking about the work he has already accomplished throughout his career, many analysts choose to revisit the same narratives over and over again. According to the discussion in the uploaded source, Ryan Clark believes the biggest issue isn't whether people rank Lamar among the league's best quarterbacks. The problem is that they use completely different standards when evaluating him compared to other elite quarterbacks. Ryan Clark's argument was simple but powerful. When people evaluate Joe Burrow, they often focus on what he can do when healthy. Injuries are pushed aside, and conversations center on his talent, his leadership, and his ability when everything around him is working. But when Lamar Jackson is discussed, injuries suddenly become one of the biggest reasons critics use to move him down their rankings. Clark questioned why the exact same logic isn't applied equally. If healthy Joe Burrow gets the benefit of the doubt, why doesn't healthy Lamar Jackson receive that same respect? That question has resonated with many Ravens fans because it reflects what they have noticed for years. Clark didn't stop there. He argued that outside of Patrick Mahomes, there may not be another quarterback in football who carries a heavier burden every single week than Lamar Jackson. Defenses must prepare for him as a passer. They must prepare for him as a runner. Then they must prepare for all the unpredictable plays that only Lamar Jackson seems capable of creating. Every defensive coordinator knows that even when a play appears finished, Lamar can escape, extend it, and completely change the outcome. That level of pressure on opposing defenses is something very few players in NFL history have ever created. The discussion also focused heavily on recent quarterback rankings that placed Lamar surprisingly low. Some rankings even listed quarterbacks ahead of him despite Lamar owning one of the most decorated individual resumes in today's NFL. Ryan Clark questioned how a two-time MVP and three-time first-team All-Pro quarterback could suddenly be viewed as less dangerous after one difficult season affected by injuries and multiple surrounding factors. His point was that people appear to forget everything Lamar has already accomplished because they focus only on the most recent stretch instead of looking at the full picture. Another important topic raised during the conversation involved Joe Burrow's own injury history. The argument was never that Burrow is not an outstanding quarterback. In fact, everyone involved acknowledged his talent. The issue was consistency. If Lamar's missed games continue to follow him everywhere, why aren't similar conversations happening about Burrow? That inconsistency is exactly what Ryan Clark described as a double standard, and it is difficult to ignore once it is pointed out. Former Ravens wide receiver Qadry Ismail also shared his thoughts, saying he simply cannot understand why some people continue to question whether Lamar belongs among the NFL's elite quarterbacks. In his opinion, Patrick Mahomes sits in his own category, but immediately after him comes Lamar Jackson. He believes many of the negative conversations are driven more by headlines and attention than by an honest evaluation of what Lamar has accomplished on the football field. Of course, there's one topic that always enters these debates, and that is playoff success. Even supporters acknowledge that winning a Super Bowl remains the one accomplishment still missing from Lamar's incredible career. Qadry Ismail openly admitted that this is the final piece many critics continue to point toward. However, he also believes that once Lamar reaches that goal, many of these conversations will disappear because there will be very little left for critics to question. The discussion also reminded everyone that Lamar's 2025 season cannot be viewed without context. Injuries played a role. The offensive line struggled throughout stretches of the year. Several circumstances affected the offense. Yet many critics chose to isolate Lamar's statistics without considering everything happening around him. According to the conversation, stripping away that context creates an incomplete and unfair evaluation of his performance. Ryan Clark went even further by reminding everyone about Lamar's career accomplishments. He described Lamar as one of the league's most influential players and someone who has completely changed the way people think about the quarterback quarterback position. His athletic ability, combined with his growth as a passer, has forced defenses to prepare differently than they ever have before. Clark believes football fans have started to forget just how unique Lamar truly is because greatness can sometimes become normal after seeing it for so many years. Another fascinating point involved Lamar's start to last season before injuries became a major issue. During the opening weeks, he ranked among the league leaders in several passing categories, demonstrating that when healthy he remained one of football's most efficient quarterbacks. Those early performances were presented as evidence that Lamar's talent never disappeared. Instead, circumstances changed as the season progressed. The conversation then shifted to another Ravens leader who continues to earn enormous respect around the league, Roquan Smith. Despite what many considered a season below his own high standards, NFL evaluators still ranked him among the very best linebackers in football. According to the discussion, only Fred Warner finished ahead of Roquan in one major evaluation, showing just how highly league personnel still regard Baltimore's defensive captain. Several anonymous evaluators praised Roquan's instincts, physicality, awareness, and ability to diagnose plays before they fully develop. His intelligence on the field, leadership, and communication continue to separate him from many other linebackers across the league. Even after a season that wasn't viewed as his absolute best, NFL decision-makers still see him as one of football's premier defensive players. Kadri Ismail also shared an interesting perspective on Roquan. He believes the linebacker has room to return to an even higher level this season. Rather than suggesting Roquan's talent has declined, he explained that several factors affected the defense last year. He expects improvements around Roquan to allow his instincts and leadership to once again dominate games the way Ravens fans have become accustomed to seeing. Then came another topic that created major reactions across the football world. Colin Cowherd released his list of the NFL's top quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson was completely left off the top 10. That immediately became one of the biggest talking points discussed. According to the conversation, quarterbacks such as Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert, Sam Darnold, Jordan Love, Drake May, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes appeared on the list, while Lamar was absent entirely. Kadri Ismail could barely believe it. He questioned how quarterbacks with significantly shorter resumes could possibly be ranked ahead of Lamar Jackson. While acknowledging the talent of several young quarterbacks, he argued that none have built a career remotely comparable to Lamar's accomplishments. His reaction reflected the disbelief many Ravens fans felt after seeing the rankings. The conversation became even more heated after discussing comments suggesting Lamar could no longer be trusted in big moments. The host strongly disagreed, pointing to numerous examples throughout his career where Lamar created remarkable plays under pressure. They argued that narratives continue to shift every time Lamar proves critics wrong. When one criticism no longer fits, another quickly appears to replace it. Despite all the outside noise, there was also optimism throughout the discussion. Both Ryan Clark and Kadri Ismail expressed excitement about seeing Lamar return healthy and motivated. They believe many people have forgotten just how dominant he can be when everything is functioning properly around him. If that version of Lamar returns this season, they expect many of today's criticisms to disappear once again. Ultimately, the biggest takeaway from this entire conversation is not simply about rankings or television debates. It is about respect. Ryan Clark believes Lamar Jackson deserves to be evaluated by the same standard used for every other elite quarterback. If injuries, surrounding talent, and context matter for one player, they should matter for all of them. If career accomplishments are important, Lamar's resume demands recognition. And if opposing defenses truly determine which quarterback